All right, so difference of squares. This is what we call dose. Okay. We can use dose when the exponents are even. The coefficients are perfect squares. Remember that when we factor it, the D stands for double parentheses. All right. The O stands for opposite signs, and your S stands for take the square root. Okay, so let's practice it. The only thing that is new that you did not see before is this part. We're used to seeing only x squared, but now our exponent is going to be higher. When your exponents are even, we can divide them by 2. Okay, so let's look at the first one. 16x to the 4th minus 1. I'm going to ask myself, I have 2 terms, right? That's 1, that's 2. I have a minus sign, so it's able to be dose. And I have 2 perfect squares. For some reason, we always forget that 1 is a perfect square. All right, but 1 times 1 is 1. It's a perfect square. So I make double parentheses. And I'm going to take the square root of everything. What's the square root of 16? Anybody? Square root of 16. Plug into your calculator. 4. So I put 4 in both parentheses. And then x to the 4th. I'm not taking the square root of 4, and it will be the same for this problem. What I'm going to do is if there's an even exponent, I divide by 2. So what's x to the 4th divided by 2? X squared. So we put x squared in each one. I skip my sign, we do it later. What's the square root of 1? 1. So I have a plus sign, I have a minus sign. What is new with this unit, they are more complex because we've seen it twice now. I'm going to ask myself, can I continue to factor each parentheses? So the first one, it can't be dose because of the plus sign, right? Now second one, that could be dosed again. It's like a double dose. I can dose this again because what's the square root of 4? 2. And the square root of x squared. And the square root of 1. 1. My signs are opposite, and then I bring down my original. I can't go any further. That is where my answer is. Alright, let's look at number 2. Number 2, I have a binomial, so I have 2 terms. My exponent is even, so I'm good. And I have a perfect square. So I get into my dose. I have x to the 4th. What's half of 4? So we have x squared in each parentheses. What about the square root of 81? 9. Minus and plus. Am I done or can I keep going? Can I keep dosing the first one? I can't dose that? Yeah, I can. I have an even exponent and I have 9. 9 is a perfect square. So I'm going to dose this as well. We put an x in each one. And what's the square root of 9? 3. Do you have a packet or a pencil? Alright, my signs are opposite. And then I bring down my last one, x squared plus 9. This is my full answer. It is important to give me the whole answer. Any questions on numbers 1 and 2? Before we get started, I want to ask you guys a couple of questions. Because you'll need to understand this. Alright, what do we do when we have we have two terms, what do? What are my options?
Combine like terms.
No. When we're factoring, I can find the GCF and divide. I can dose, or what else can I do?
So,
We can soak. That's for two terms. When I have three terms, what are my options? What's that method called? Yes, we can swing. And we can also just get right into our AM method. Okay, I'll just put AM, which is your T-chart, right? All right, when I have four terms, what do? Remember Star Wars or Star Trek? Sorry, I always mess that up. I get it's a big deal. Which one is this? Trek.
Star Trek?
I can't.
Is it Trek?
Yeah.
Okay. We split it, right? Four terms, we split. Alright, you guys have to remember this stuff. Two terms, we're looking for a GCF, looking to see if we can dose, look for soap. There's three terms, that's our normal, we learned that first. That's our A method, or we can swing it if there's a coefficient bigger than 1. Four terms, we just split it, okay? So let's go ahead and finish dosing. Alright, I don't have a GCF, I have two terms, x to the 6th and y to the 10th. Do I have even exponents? Yes. So even exponents, I can go ahead and dose. What's half of x to the 6th? So x cubed each one. And then y to the 10th, what's half? Y to the 5th. What happens to my signs? Yep, minus plus. I asked myself in my head, can I keep going? The answer is no. Okay? Because even though this is a minus, that can be dosed, but I have odd exponents. In order for us to keep going, it would have to either be even and or have a perfect square. So that's just our answer. All right, number 4. Do I have a GCF? Yeah. 2 is our GCF. I pull that GCF out to the side and I divide. My 2's cancel out, so I just have x to the 8th minus, what's 32 divided by 2? 16, and I keep my y to the 6th. Once again, I ask myself, can I go further with this guy here? Yes, I can. Can I dose it? Yeah, there's a perfect square and I have even exponents. So x to the 8th, I split that up to be what? X to the 4th. And then my 16, what's the square root of that? Don't be confused and take half of 16. Okay, we only take half of my even exponents. If it's a big number, we're going to see it has to be a square root. Alright, how do I split up y to the 6th? Y to the 3rd. And that is plus, and that is minus, and I bring down my GCF. I ask myself, can I go further? Can I dose that? I can't because it's an odd exponent. That 3 throws it off. So that is just my answer. Do we remember how to dose? Is it coming back to us? It's a little bit more complex, but the principles stay the same. Alright. So now let's look at SOAP. Who remembers what SOAP stands for? It means our signs, right? Same, opposite, always what?
Positive.
Yep, same, opposite, always positive. That's only for my signs. We know it's SOAP when there are cube roots, okay? Our exponents are multiples of 3, so when you're cube rooting, you just take the cube root of the coefficient, and you divide the exponents by 3. Let's look at number 1. I don't have a GCF. What's the cube root of 125? 5.
Yeah, 5.
What's the cube root of x cubed?
X.
It's x. What's the cube root of 729?
6, 7.
So to find your cube root in your calculator, you're going to go to math 4 and then type in these answers.
Oh, I was like, how do you
So
say?
you should get 9, and cube root of y cubed is just y. You have to go to math 4. When we're doing this, we have one regular parentheses and one larger one. I'm going to stack them on top of each other so I don't have enough room to go side by side. Same thing. I put my cube roots inside the first parentheses. Alright, so here's the system. My first number here, I square the first number in my first parentheses. So what is this? What's 5x squared? Nope. What's 5 times 5? So 25x squared. My middle number, we multiply them together. So what is 5x times 9y? 45xy. My last number, I square the last number. So what is 9y squared? 81, and then y squared. Don't forget your variable. My signs are going to be same, opposite, always positive based on where we start. I start with a plus sign, so it's the same. Plus, opposite, minus, and then always plus. This is my answer. Any questions there? All right, let's try number 2. 27t to the third plus 1000 r cubed, r to the third. I don't have a GCF, so I'm going to take the cube root of everything. The cube root of 27 is what?
3.
3. The cube root of t cubed is just t. The cube root of 1000, it's 10. And the cube root of r cubed is just r. So we're going to make one normal parentheses and then one larger one. You can put them side by side, like I said, but I just don't have the room. And my smaller one, I'm putting whatever the cube was. 3t and 10r. Try to curve or something your t so it doesn't look a plus sign if you just do this. I think it looks more confusing. So I try to make my t a little fancy. Alright, my first number here, I'm going to square my first term. So what's 3t squared?
9 squared.
Don't forget your letter. Yep, 9t squared. My middle number, I'm going to multiply them together. So 3t times 10r.
30 QR.
30tr. If you guys just give me 30, it's not the same. You have to put your variables. And then my last term, I'm going to square 10r. So we get 100r squared. For my signs, I start with a plus sign. So same, opposite, always positive. What do I start with?
Minus.
Same,
Plus.
plus, minus, plus. Is this coming back to you? Good. Alright, we have 2 more on this page. Then we're going to do some practice. Alright, number 3. With number 3, I have 125x cubed times y cubed minus 8y cubed. Alright, do I have a GCF?
No.
Look closely. What's in common in both terms?
3.
Well, what's in front of the 3? Is there x cubed in the second term? No, but there is y cubed and y cubed. So what is my GCF? Y cubed. You can take that out. So I'm left with 125 x cubed minus 8 when I divide. I just divided and they canceled out. Alright, I'm going to ask myself, do I stop here or do I keep going? I keep going because I can soak this guy here. The square root of 125 is 5. The square root of x cubed is, did I say square root or cube root? I meant to say cube. The cube root of 8 is 2. So I have one normal parentheses and I have one larger one. So I'm going to factor them. My cube roots I'm going to place right inside the first one. So we have 5x and we have 2. And then my first number, I square the first term. So what is 5x squared? 25x squared. My middle term, I multiply them together. So what's 5x times 2? 10x. My last term, I square the last term. So what is 2 squared?
4.
My signs are same, which is minus, plus, plus. And that is y cubed. Okay. Last one. I have a GCF here. Let's see if we remember how to find our GCF. In your calculators, I want you to go to math, go over the number, hit number 9. Did the words GCD come up?
Yes.
Alright, so for your GCD, I want you to type in 24, comma, 81. The comma is above the number 7. And what do you get?
3.
So my GCD is 3, same as GCF. That's how we find it. You get lost?
24 and 81.
Yep, 24, comma, 81.
Google Math. Over.
Okay, can you show them, Jeff? You get it? Okay. So my 3 comes down, and I'm left with 24 divided by 3 is 8. I keep my x cubed minus, and 81 divided by 3 is 27. Well, I have a binomial because there's 2 terms, and I have 2 perfect cubes. So that tells me I'm getting to SOAP. When I get into SOAP, the cube root of 8 is 2, the cube root of x cubed is x, and the cube root of 27 is 3. So I have one normal parentheses and I have one larger one. I'm putting my cube roots right here in the middle. 2x and 3. All right, and my bigger parentheses was 2x squared, or x squared. My middle number, I multiply them together, so it was 2x times 3, 6x. And my last number, I squared the last number, so it was 3 squared, 9. My sign starts with a negative, so it's my SOAP. What are my signs? Minus, plus, plus, and don't forget to bring down your 3. Any questions on these 8 problems? All right. So here's 1 and 2. Any questions on those 2? We had to take the GCF, which was 2x squared, and then we had to SOAP it. Once again, if you want to see any of these numbers, just let me know which one, I'll do them. It doesn't make sense to just write down the answers without the work.
I'm going to do the number 2.
Okay, I'll go over it. All right, 3 and 4, any questions? 3, your answer should be x squared minus 7, y, and x squared plus, no, sorry, x squared minus 7y and x squared minus 1y. You will have a mini quiz on this next class. No questions on number 3? Number 4. Five and 6. Jeffrey, you wanted to see number 5?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't need the number 2.
I know. I already marked that one down. So we're good on 1, 3, 4, and 6. All right. It's a little scary, but if you guys don't speak up, then I don't know where you're lost. All right. So turn to number 2 first. On number 2, I have 4 terms, so I have to split them. What's the GCF of the left side?
X squared.
X squared. So I'll pull my x squared out, and I'm left with x minus 4, right? On the other side, my GCF is negative 4 because I started with a negative there.
Yeah.
So now that's the tricky part. So we pull down our negative 4, and I'm left with x minus 4. Do we see that I have matching parentheses? Okay, so my GCFs become their own parentheses, x squared minus 4, and my matching parentheses become their own. I'm not done here. Do we see that I can dose this one?
Yeah. That's what I did.
Yeah, so if I dose this, I get x plus 2, x minus 2. The order of your signs don't matter. So this is your answer.
Oh, that's part in.
I keep going. Alright, the next one was number 5, right?
Yeah.
Alright, so I had to swing this one. I swung the 3 to the x. When that happens, I need to multiply it. So my T-chart, I need 2 numbers that multiply to give me 18 and add to give me 11. You use 9 and 2. Okay. The important part here is that we look to see what's in the middle because we keep our middle term. So I pull down the first, which is 3x to the 4th. I pull down the last, which is positive 6. In the middle, I'm putting whatever my factors are. So that's positive 9x squared, positive 2x squared. The x squared came from here because that's what's in the middle. All I did was just rewrite it. Now I have 4 terms, so I split it down the middle. My GCF of the left side is 3x squared. I bring down the 3x squared and I divide. That leaves me with x squared plus 3. On the other side, my GCF is 2. I pull down the 2, that leaves me with x squared plus 3. My parentheses are matching, so I'm doing well so far. My answer is my GCFs become a factor. So 3x squared plus 2. And my matching parentheses are also factored. And that is my answer. Are we all good on the practice problems? Okay, for your homework, you have homework B. You can pick 5 problems. So you can either do the evens or you can do the odds.
And do the whole thing as extra credit?
Yep, you get extra credit if you do the whole thing. I will check homework A and B next class. The answers are on Blackboard, but you need to show work to get credit. Any other questions?